Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about purchasing a property with a spouse. I have 6 tips that you guys should know all about if you are purchasing a property with a spouse. So these are my top 6 tips, or my top 6 need to knows. Okay, welcome back to my channel. My name is Althea Hearst. I am a top producing agent here in the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, and I have sold over 100 million in sales, helped over 600 families. I am also an agent coach, very knowledgeable, high energy, and one of my biggest things and one of my superpowers is I keep it simple, one, and I have the ability to break down the most complex things into simple terms so that way it is easy for you to understand. So make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to helping you learn and grow in your journey of real estate. So let's talk about it, you guys. Here are my top 6 tips or need to knows when you are purchasing a property with a spouse. Before I even go into it, because I didn't write this part down, but I do want to give you guys a disclaimer, right? This disclaimer is this. You know the relationship that you are in, right? Relationships are sacred, and only you know truly the relationship that you are in. With that, please be smart, because it is not easy, okay, to purchase a property and then later remove someone from the deed, or later remove someone from the mortgage. I see this happen a lot of times, and couples who are really excited, they love each other, but they know things are really shaky. They see the red flags, but they move forward with purchasing a property with someone, or either adding someone to the deed. Keep in mind, you guys, that this is not an apartment. This is a home purchase, and whoever goes on that mortgage or whoever goes on that deed has 100% ownership and rights to that same exact property as you, and it is not easy for you to remove them. There is a process associated with it, and if something goes wrong, not only does it affect you and your home, but it also could potentially affect your credit score. So please keep that in mind before you go out and you purchase a property with somebody. Make sure that you are making a smart and cautious decision, because you do not want it to turn around and hurt you on the back end. I've seen it way too many times. Okay, so my tip number 1 is, first, everyone must meet the minimum credit score requirement. So when you are applying for the mortgage, some mortgage lenders require at minimum a 640 credit score. Some mortgages will require at minimum a 620 credit score. It all truly depends. However, each applicant must meet the minimum credit score requirement, okay? So that means you and your spouse, you and your significant other, if the minimum is a 640, both of you guys must meet that requirement, okay? Tip number 2 is that these scores cannot be combined, all right? So if your spouse has a 720 and you have a 618, no, we cannot combine the credit scores. Each person must meet the minimum credit score requirement, okay? Also, if you guys want to use down payment assistance, again, each of you must qualify for the down payment assistance program, and both of your incomes will be used for this qualification. And depending upon the program that you use, most times you cannot make over a certain amount of money combined. All right. Now, tip number 3. Let's say we have one individual who has income and also has credit, and we have another individual who has income but doesn't have the credit. What are our choices here? Okay, so the choice is, 1, you can add the second individual to the deed. However, if you add that person to the deed, unfortunately, their income will not qualify towards the purchase, you guys. Keep that in mind, okay? So what that means is, if you're asking yourself, hey, can I purchase a property with my spouse? My spouse has the income, I have the credit. Can we still do this? The answer is no. Whoever is going on an application must have income, must have credit. Okay. If you're missing one, unfortunately, you will not qualify. All right. My biggest piece of advice is this, you guys. If one person qualifies, go ahead and let that person purchase the property and then add the other one to the deed. This is how you can accumulate wealth. This is what my husband and I do. Matter of fact, the home that I'm sitting in right about now, I purchased this property, added my husband to the deed. Directly after we bought this home, we went and purchased another property, and his name with his mortgage added me to the deed. So now both of us have separate mortgages on our credit, but both of us have ownership to multiple properties. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, that is a good option if need be. Not only that, it also keeps one person's credit open, okay? So say, for instance, someone loses their job or somebody gets hurt or something happens, God forbid, right? If the mortgage is only in one person's name, and let's say for some reason you may happen to fall 30 days behind, or you need to do a modification, or you need to do a forbearance, but guess what happens? That impacts your credit score. But if it's only in one person's name, it's only impacting one person's credit score. The other significant other credit score is still open to be used to help get a personal loan, any kind of financing that may be needed to help the other spouse get out of debt, or to help the other spouse come back up. Okay. So I always recommend that you do leave at least one person's credit open. So that way, if something happens and you default on the mortgage or you make a late payment, that both people will not be reprimanded for that action. Okay. I don't know which one we're on, but my next tip is this, you guys. Keep in mind that the lenders will base the mortgage payment and the mortgage interest rate off of the person with the lowest credit score. So let's say, for instance, we do a loan application. Your spouse has a 720 and you have a 680. The mortgage loan application will be based off of your 680 credit score. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, why is that? Why are they using the lowest credit score? I tell people, think of it like this. When banks are lending out this kind of money, this is where it really becomes a liability for them, right? When you are purchasing a car from a car dealership, and you're utilizing bank funding or credit union funding, or you're getting it financed in general, they'll allow for you to do a borrower and a co-borrower, right? The car may be $30,000, $40,000, $60,000. To a bank, that's a little bit of money, right? But if you are looking to purchase a $500,000 house, a $600,000 house, or even a $400,000 house, that's $250,000 to $500,000 or more, right? So there's a larger liability attached to this, and the bank has to make sure that their funds are covered. So because of that, you guys, they are going to scrutinize the loan, or I don't want to say scrutinize, but they're going to base the loan off of the person with the lowest credit score, so that way they can maximize their liability just in case of default. So I hope you guys understand that. So when I say maximize their liability, meaning that they are taking their most risk. They're going to say, hey, okay, we understand that you have a 680 credit score, the other individual have a 720. However, my most risk will come from the 680 credit score. So because of that, I'm going to base the loan off of the 680 credit score, so I could prepare myself for my greatest risk if something was to happen. All right. So that's how the banks base the mortgage. Okay. Now, granted, keep in mind that rates are grouped, so we'll talk about that in a separate video. So don't freak out about it. However, they will base the loan off of the person with the lowest credit score. Okay. And then this is going to bring me into my next tip, which is when you are purchasing a property, they have the terms borrower and co-borrower. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, keep in mind that if you're on the deed or on the loan application as the borrower or as the co-borrower, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't matter who name come first. I've run into that sometimes with a few different couples where I have individuals like at the closing table, like, well, why is this person named first and my name isn't first? This doesn't mean nothing. Does this mean that this person has more ownership than me? Absolutely not. Okay. It's just written that way, borrower and co-borrower, but each of you will have 100% ownership to the property. Each of you will have 100% rights to the home. Okay. If someone wanted to walk away, or someone decided they no longer wanted to be in the marriage or in the relationship or in whatever you guys may have, guess what? And they no longer want the house either, then you will either have to buy them out, sell the home, refinance, and a whole different things. And we'll talk about that in another video. But just to close this out, those are some tips that you can have right there, or some need to knows that you should know as it relates to purchasing a property with a spouse. As I said, this video could go deep, and I could definitely make some more videos just to kind of elaborate more on this topic. But I hope this gave you a little bit of more understanding. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Thank you so much for watching my videos. You can connect with me here on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere at I am Althea Hearst. If you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, I would love to work with you. So feel free to fill out my new client form or contact me, so that way we can get your consultation scheduled. And I look forward to helping you reach your real estate goals. I'll see you guys on the next video.